This video will demonstrate how to remove and replace the power backplane on the Qualstar XLS-810XXX 240 tape library. Prior to beginning this replacement, you need to make sure that the library is powered off through the X-link, and we need to remove the power cable from the library. For this demonstration, we have already removed the right side skin of the XLS. Once the skin has been removed, we need to open the door and we need to remove the bracket plate that holds the door interlock and the door itself from the XLS. Once we remove these 3 screws, we need to disconnect the interlock power. After removing the power connector on the door interlock switch, we need to remove 2 screws from the panel. Screw 1 and screw number 2. Once we remove the door interlock switch, we're able to remove the whole assembly and push it up against the door to give us a little bit more working area. After we remove the 2 screws, we're able to remove the panel, which will expose the internal connectors of the power backplane board. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 connectors that are visible, but we do have 3 more that are at the bottom of the power backplane. Once we have removed the door switch and the front plate from the power backplane, we need to remove the bottom drive bay or empty bay plate. Once you have the cover plate removed, you will expose the drive power supply cable. For this demonstration, we don't have a drive bay in here, but if you did, this cable does need to be removed from the drive bay itself. After we have the drive filler plate removed, we can go ahead and remove the power supplies along with the battery controller. Now that we have the drive filler plate removed, we're able to expose the lip on the bottom cover that once we remove the 4 screws, 2 on the side, 1 on this bottom and 1 on the other bottom, once we remove those 4 screws, we can remove this panel. Please note that we do need to disconnect the bottom light curtain board connector. After we have this removed, we can go ahead and slide the cover toward us and pull it forward. This will give us enough room to expose the 3 cables on the inside of the backplane. These are push and pull connectors. You push the connector and wiggle out and you pull them. The thing we don't want to do is pull on the cord itself. We have to remove all connectors from the power supply backplane. Now that we have all the connectors removed, we do need to remove the power supply controller board. This board is held in with 2 screws, 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom. Now, depending on the size of the screwdriver you have, you can use a stubby screwdriver to get into the bottom. If not, you can put this panel back, and if you're able to raise the beam, you can slide the screwdriver through and get to the bottom screw. For this demonstration, I'm going to hold the beam up with my left hand, and I'm going to unscrew the bottom screw with my right. Now that we removed the 2 screws holding in the power supply controller, we can wiggle the power supply controller out from the power backplane. Once we've removed everything from the front, we need to go to the side of the XLS, and that's where we're going to start removing the connections off of the carousel controller board. Once again, please note that we have removed the side skin for this demonstration. Before removing this cover plate, we do need to undo the connections to the carousel controller board. Once again, these are pull connectors, and we want to make sure that we do not pull on the cable itself. After we have these removed, we need to unscrew the 4 screws on the left side and the 4 screws on the right side. Once we have the last screw removed, the panel is going to be kind of wobbly, so we're going to want to hold it, and we're able to expose the inside of the beam, or the inside of the power supply module here. Once we remove the plate from the carousel controller, we're going to expose the inside of the power backplane. As you can see on the power backplane, we do have the input module that is still connected. We do need to disconnect the input module. Once again, it's a push and pull lock connector, and we need to remove the 2 screws on the bottom. Once we pull the module out, it's going to have a grounding strap. We have 2 options here. We can either remove the grounding strap, or we can pull this out to where it kind of leans up against the unit here, and that gives us enough room in here to work. For this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the grounding strap. Because of the size of the screwdriver, I'm not able to get to the bottom screw here. Now that we got ample space to work, we can see that we got 2 screws on the bottom, a screw on the side, as we see here, and then also on the left side. So we need to go ahead and remove all these screws. Once all these screws are removed, we can slide the power backplane out of the library and install the new one. Once we get to the last screw, we can go ahead and remove the board out of the library.